JBN, we keep you informed. Obeah law could be repealed soon. Jamaicans who practice Obeah and those who visit the practitioners could soon be able to do so without fear of criminal prosecution. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck on Tuesday promised to repeal the more than 100-year-old Obeah Act, which made the practice illegal. Chuck made the promise as the House of Representatives debated and approved increases in fines and penalties for various pieces of legislation as part of a broader amendment to the Law Reform Amendment of Penalties Act. If it had been included in the schedule of the amended legislation, the fine for practicing Obeah would have been increased from $100 to $1 million. South St. Andrew Member of Parliament Mark Golding had earlier pointed out that it was pointless to increase the fines and the penalties for practicing Obeah since it was the intention of the Parliament to repeal the law that was enacted in June 1898. He was supported by the Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon, Mike Henry, a parliamentarian of 40 years, who questioned why the Obeah law was on the books in the first place. I am awaiting clarification as to whether we are now moving something that will make Obeah legal or it remains illegal. If it is not legal, I have reservations because you can't deny me my African religious rights, Henry stated. I don't want it to be misunderstood by anyone anywhere, so I'm asking for clarification because Obeah should never have been illegal at any point, any time, anywhere, he added. In offering clarification, Chuck said it was the intention of the administration to examine the Obeah Act. He said since a re-examination that could lead to the repeal was on the cards, it was pointless to increase the penalties. Still pressing, and questioned whether the Obeah Act would be removed from the books, but Chuck told him not just yet. We are hoping to repeal the Obeah Act. It will be taken to Cabinet shortly, a revived Cabinet submission to have it repealed, so we are removing it from the increased penalties at this time, Chuck said. Clarendon cops saddened by vendor's murder. Head of the Clarendon Police Senior Superintendent Vendolin Cameron Powell said the cops from the parish are saddened by the death of 60-year-old Patricia Ariot, known to many as Miss Pat, who was shot and killed in Maypen on Monday evening. Cameron Powell said that it was a sad day for the force and the Maypen community on a whole because Pat was a jovial woman who was a friend to everyone. She was a little lady, probably about 3 feet tall. It is very unfortunate because we have known her for many years. She was very friendly and very nice. She's a friend of the police, she said. Reports are that about 5:30 p.m. on Monday, someone walked up to Pat's stall and shot her in the face. Cameron Powell said currently investigations are underway. However, they are appealing to persons to come forward with information that can lead to an arrest. We are hearing of 2 conflicts, one in the center with other vendors, and we are hearing of another in Cornpeace, another hotspot community. So we are not certain, but we are investigating, she said. We are calling on the citizens. If they know something, they need to assist us with the investigation. We are not only calling on citizens, we are calling on family members to assist us because these crimes are happening everywhere in Jamaica, and the manner in which people are keeping away make it hard for us to arrest more persons, and we want to arrest more persons for crime. Cameron Powell described Pat as a unique person who would often put on a show to make people laugh. She said that for such a small woman she was harmless, and the cops are perturbed as to why someone would hurt her. I spoke to her personally many times. She's always calling to us. You'll see her and engage her more than a normal person. It is very sad. Sometimes music are playing at the town, and you see her putting on a dance for us to see. This lady, little in stature, she can't do anything at all. She's like a helpless person trying to do her business, she said. 6 Jamaicans reportedly rescued from Atlanta human trafficking. A non-profit organization in Atlanta, United States, is reporting that from December last year to January 2019, it has rescued 6 Jamaican victims of human trafficking. 4 of the victims were women and the other 2 underage girls. According to Mayor Pena, the executive director of her sister's place, the victims were promised glamorous opportunities in the United States. However, when they arrived in Atlanta, they were pumped with drugs and forced to have sex with several men daily. She said one of the adult females is currently in the custody of immigration authorities, set to be returned home while the other 2 underage girls are back on local soil. With the aid of law enforcement and friends, we were able to purchase tickets, and two of them traveled back to Orlando to meet with family members and eventually sent back to Jamaica, said Pena. However, she said the three other adult females remain on the streets of Atlanta. They are roaming the streets, homeless, and left at the mercy of a crazy pimp, Pena said, whose organization offers transitional housing and life skill training for women who have been trafficked. Human trafficking is the movement of people through coercion, deception, or force for sexual exploitation or labor. The 6 trafficking victims are from St. Catherine and Kingston. Pena said one of the women was promised a job and the others better lives in America after they were picked up at parties in Kingston. She claims, however, that the underage girls were sold by family members. Just a week before Super Bowl, we got a call to rescue 4 immigrant young women, age range 25 to 30 from Kingston, Jamaica. They were rescued from Trap House, Pena said. A trap house is a place where more than 30 young women are kept to have sex with older men. The Atlanta-based 11 Live News reported that during the period of the Super Bowl in February this year, some 169 persons were arrested during an 11-day operation targeting sex trafficking in Atlanta. Those arrested included 26 sex traffickers and 34 individuals attempting to engage in sexual acts with minors, according to the FBI Atlanta field office. 9 children were recovered from sex trafficking, the youngest being 14 years old. 9 adult human trafficking victims were also identified. The head of Jamaica's Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, Deputy Superintendent Carl Berry, said he was not aware of the Atlanta trafficking claim. The Office of Jamaica's Honorary Consul in Atlanta, Dr. Elaine Bryan, also had no such reports. However, Pena said she made contact with the consulate on several occasions seeking help for the Jamaican trafficking victims. In the meantime, she said she is now hoping that the Jamaican authorities will help the victims. The authorities here only see them as prostitutes and are asking for physical proof that they were actually trafficked here. Without the proof, they are just left to go back on the street or stay locked up, the director said. Plans to revive railway passenger system advance, said Montague. Plans by the Jamaica Railway Corporation, JRC, to revive the railway passenger service are advanced. We are in the last phase of completing an arrangement with a private consortium, which will take over 34 kilometers of a right-of-way and rails, improve and relay the tracks, buy their own engine and coaches, and maintain the equipment and tracks, Transport and Mining Minister Robert Montague announced in his contribution in the 2019-2020 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, June 4. Additionally, Montague said the consortium will pay a royalty per passenger for the permit they will be provided by the JRC to undertake the operation. He noted that the service is expected to commence on the Montpelier to Catadupa leg in St. James as a tourist attraction and eventually extended to Appleton in St. Elizabeth. In addition, the stops along the route will have Jamaican businesses, hairdressers, vendors, and craft people, all from the immediate community. No big chain stores, Montague said. He added that these stakeholders are being facilitated because we want to put life back into these communities, while advising that we are in the process of also identifying and training these people. The minister said repairs on buildings along the targeted routes to be utilized for various engagements will commence shortly, with a maintenance facility stated to be established in Montpelier. They are now looking at starting a railway museum, food court, kiddies park, and other attractions, so that while we wait on the final approval from the agency, the people can benefit, Montague told the House. At the same time, the minister advised of plans by the government to introduce a school train service from Old Harbour to Spanish Town and the Spanish Town to Linston in St. Catherine. The technical requirements are here and the expertise is in-house. What we need is some funds, and I'm confident that when our discussions with the Minister of Finance are complete, we will know if we'll start one leg, then the next, or both at once, Montague said. He added that the Jamaica Urban Transit Company will provide buses on a special route to sync with the trains. PM pays respect as Siaga's body lies in state. Prime Minister Andrew Holness led mourners in paying respects to the late former Prime Minister Edward Siaga at the Jamaica Labour Party JLP headquarters in St. Andrew yesterday, where the body laid in state. Olness arrived at the Belmont Road location at about 10 a.m., where he was greeted by Siaga's widow Carla. He signed the condolence book before viewing the closed casket draped in the national flag while soldiers stood guard. Accompanying the Prime Minister were Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange and the Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montague. Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding was also present. On June 7, Siaga's body will travel to the Montego Bay Civic Center in St. James, where it will line state from 9 a.m. to midday, and from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the St. John's Anglican Church in Ochirai, St. Anne. Members of the public will also be able to pay their respects at the Tivoli Gardens Community Center, where the body of the late former Prime Minister will lay in state from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on June 10 and on June 19 at the National Arena in Kingston, beginning at 10 a.m. The public will be allowed to file past the casket at each location. On June 19, both Houses of Parliament will sit in a joint session starting at 2 p.m. as a tribute to the former legislator. The funeral service will be held on Sunday, June 23, at the Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity, which has in the past been the venue of state funerals and memorial services for prominent public figures, including former Prime Minister Michael Manley in March 1997. During this period of mourning, Jamaican flags are being flown at half-mast in Jamaica and overseas, leading up to his burial at the National Heroes Park. Condolence books have already been opened at the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and Jamaica's missions overseas. Siaga died on his 89th birthday on May 28 in a hospital in Florida. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.